kind of holding up well, and those two have, I think, continued to be strong for Teammate.
As you can see, the last time these guys played, TDK was unable to ban champions due to some severe roster issues they've had, but they've had their full intended roster for the latter half of the split. This time getting to ban things away. Kalista probably a smart choice. Nian has had some very good Kalista games.
Yeah, so TDK's 6th professional game with this roster. Unfortunately, they've only won one of the prior 5. Annie Kalista dropped away. We're still seeing her be plenty popular. The perennial Vlad ban against Seraph, and also its Ryze. I think 513 Ryze is, in my opinion, the strongest champion in the game. I don't expect many teams to let that champion go through. Teammate, one of them to ban that away. Seraph away for Nian as well. And we see another example of those two AD carries being banned out by the same team usually.
Yeah. Definitely wanting to change the name of the game for the AD carries. Interesting. I like the fact that they're putting Seraph back onto major damage dealers. Seraphs have been targeted pretty heavily with bans by a lot of the other teams, but they have not found success with him on Maokai so much.
Yeah.
Obviously, they haven't found much success, but they're closer to it when he's on Rumble or Vladimir.
Yeah, he's played a lot of those champions. Of course, no one ever lets him get Vladimir. Personally, I like seeing him on specifically split pushers. Like, he used to play a lot of Nidalee back in Challenger, and that was very strong. Yeah, Rumble being a good damage dealer, to me, I always want to see him be able to play with split push power. Like, even as Gnar went 4-0 against Cloud9 a few weeks ago. But Rumble it's going to be, unless Ninja wants to play in the mid lane. Teammate taking the time with their next few picks. It looks like a double tank front line for them. Alice for support, Gragas in the jungle, Shen and Nautilus still up.
Yeah, and Alistair's one of those picks who's used to be like perma-pick ban, but he started to fall down a little bit as of late. Teams are getting better at respecting his turret diving potential and punishing him when his ultimate isn't up. And solid picks back for TDK. Braum obviously being another one of those tank supports who's definitely seeing play now. And with 280 carry bans, the Trist is right for Emperor.
Yeah, Tristana this time getting picked before the Corki. We'll see if that trades back forward. Nian is a very comfort pick level Corki player, so maybe we see that one come through. The Braum also rising up in stock. We might see those other, popular tanks not get picked up. Calatrolls was a big Shen proponent. You might see him pick that one up now that we know Seraph is not going to be on that top lane, and Sweetly's definitely going to be on Braum, so Shen can be picked up whenever, but it's going to be a Maokai. And Nian, taking his time, says, yeah, it is going to be Corki.
Corki is the pick that makes the most sense here. It has been close to the priority pick for a lot of regions lately. It will be going into some Braum counterpoke, though. And it also means they need to pick up a lot of damage in the mid lane with just a Maokai top lane.
All right, so it means it's going to be the Jace mid here. Tristana and Jace, the sieging duo. That's going to be interesting here for Team Dragonites. It's going to be the 5th unique champion pick here for Ninja in 6 games. He's doubled up on Victor. Otherwise, bringing out the Jace that the old TDK mid laner used to play a whole lot of back when they had Kyle in the Challenger Series. So almost a throwback there. Seraph should
whole bunch of damage. Just a whole bunch of damage for TDK.
So what's the counter pick going to be? You know it's Jace mid lane, you know it's Tristana 80 carry. It's a lot of ranged auto attacks coming through. As you mentioned, teammate need a damage source. The hover's on Yasuo. Yeah,
it's a little tricky here because if they go magic damage, then they're pretty much all magic damage as a team. There we go. Poke team with the Varus. Going to be a little bit difficult against the Braum.
Yeah, so interesting. Double marksman up into Braum, always a bit risky. Double poke into basically poke and siege. So somewhat similar team goals. But Team Dragonites, as you mentioned, a whole lot of damage. Teammate hoping to get enough burst that Varus gets the attack speed from his passive off a kill or assist. But a big front line for Teammate. Double marksman behind it. See how well that works for them. Teammate hoping to go 4-0 if they want a chance for the playoffs. As you mentioned before, they sit half a game above Cloud9, so they can also hold on to their LCS spot for sure. C9 hoping that TDK wins.
Yeah, there's a lot of wishing and hoping for a lot of these different teams. TDK definitely hoping TDK wins, trying to salvage this season. Like we said, they need to run every single game as a victory to avoid auto-relegation. Just a monster game, especially because Teammate is trying to play to be safe more than anything. Obviously, playoffs are possible, but they really just want to win and secure their spot.
And speaking of securing their spots, Enemy, the only team that TDK could overtake, and Enemy's roster or future games aren't exactly easy, so And those teams theoretically could swap places for auto-relegation. We'll see if TDK can make that climb. But guys at home, head over to Twitter to tell us who you think will prevail in this game. Tweet hashtag TDK win or hashtag T8 win to @LOL Esports. Let us know how you think this one's going to go. It's going to be a very important match. Your standings very much in the minds of both these teams. Team comps on your screen. Lights now. And we're going to get ourselves into the game. Team Dragon Knights versus Team 8.
Yeah, and I'm going to be very interested in the early laning phase right here. Whether or not we see TDK swap back with the Tristana, because as far as the Corki being a bit of a lane bully, it feels like Nien would want, champion-wise, a pick against Trist, but the matchup for Team 8 normally lane swapping doesn't play that way.
Yeah, well, we got to see how the big players, the new guys of TDK, shape up, because Ninja and Emperor may have helped in some aspect of TDK's game, but they've caused problems in others.
I think that when Ninja and Emperor came onto TDK, it was expected to kind of change the team completely, but you can still see their main weaknesses. And also, Emperor and Ninja both have a play style that's a lot different from what TDK was used to. So now they're jumping in, they're being super aggressive, and TDK is not following up. So they're going to have to work a lot together to figure out how to do this aggression safely and smartly.
Yeah, and we've even seen it with some of TDK's games. They have some amazing plays from Ninja and Emperor, and then some really poor plays from Ninja and Emperor.
Yeah.
You never know what you're going to get.
That's true, yeah. It's you flip a coin and TDK either wins or loses the team fight. Honestly, I actually really did like TDK's old style in Challenger, even though the players were arguably inferior to Ninja and Emperor. But when Kyle and Louis GG were in there, it was the Seraph show, and he was the split pusher, and he would hard carry his team through the games. And though he has played some more Rumble games this split, it felt like Seraph lost a lot of what made him good when they started pulling him out of the team fighters, the Maokais and the Lulus. And, you know, if they adapt to the style and it works for them, then good for them. But I just don't see the same Seraph anymore when he's forced to play around the different team dynamics.
Starting with an amplifying tone.
All right, that's a good way to start aggressively. Well, thing is, I've noticed no Rumbles are going Sork Shoes first anymore. They're always rushing Leandries really hard because it's such an important item to complete that I'm seeing them start Amp Tome or Ruby Crystal almost every game.
Yeah, especially on this patch. Obviously, Leandry's Trauma used to give 50 ability power, now it gives 80, and it's only 100 gold more expensive when fully completed. If you're thinking about cost per ability power, you think to the Amp Tome, which is 435 gold for 20 ability power. So it's about 647 gold of stats that Leandry's gained for only 100 gold increase in price.
Yeah.
Like that to Rumble, who is the player who rushes that item more than anything, was one of the biggest buffs out of the AP optimization changes.
And we'll see him do probably well for himself. Now, mid lane pressure was attempted, not going to happen. We are in a lane swap game. Braum spent a little bit of time trying to harass Mint, didn't happen. We might see TDK now group down onto this bottom turret. Looks like we have a different plan, though, from Team 8, though. They've actually recalled, and they're trying to do that 3-man defense under that bottom tier 2. Nien will be by himself, shoving in and denying under the turret. And we'll see if they can get that second or third wave of experience.
It's going to be farm for Nien, but they're looking a little bit late to this. I wonder if TDK will rush them as they try running through, because that's a level 1 Alistair. I don't really see Team 8 being able to get up there, but they've gotten pretty close to the turret. No, TDK, they let them in.
Just fine. The stun lands. Dodo's all right, and the wave's going to get farmed up after all. So, yeah, TDK did not play far enough forward to track the movements and zone the team away from the turret. Teammate successful in getting 50% more experience than they were going to otherwise.
Yeah, that's a huge hold there by Teammate, because now Nien gets to keep the farm on Corki. There's some elements to this. They have 3 tanks basically walking through, so they're a little harder to kill. They have a lot of CC. But even so, TDK either needs a deep ward in the lane, or, like you said, to play more forward to prevent 3 people from just walking past them.
Kept looking for the play. Unfortunately, Ninja missed the Q. It forces Golden Glue Summoner heal at the very least, but otherwise, a pretty safe Varus, all things and done. That said, though, this wave is pushed up, so he's got to be a bit careful about a repeat gank. He lost his summoner spell for the last one and goes right back where he was.
Yeah, just gets the early ward in the top lane as well. But speaking about Golden Glue, he's been playing quite well. So no surprise that Kez tries to put a little bit of pressure on him early on in the lane. Jace and Varus show a lot of similarities in that mid lane matchup as well, both long-range physical damage pokers. So whoever gets an edge in that lane can fairly quickly close that into a much larger edge.
Yeah.
Early ganks are very important.
You've got their own forms of gank assistance, right? Varus with the ulti can lock you down for long enough to kill you, and Jace just does so damn much damage he can follow up pretty well. Porpoise walking around, he's going to take Scuttler. He will get spotted by Rumble's ward, and that will not likely be a successful gun. Whoops! He stopped the auto about a frame too early and lost some mana in time because of that. All right, there's an aggressive green ward there to see just where Kez runs around. That's the way you track Evelyn. You ward her camp as best you can. Evelyn, not the biggest friend of killing the Gromps, though, so you might not see her go for that camp that often.
It's true. Hate Spike's AoE. Does not help her very much with that one. It's interesting, though, how much damage TDK is dealing to that bottom lane turret. Because I compare it to what Nien's done in the top lane, where he's mostly just been farming. There's a very real chance that TDK could get a 1 turret to 0 advantage quite quickly. Maokai and Alistar not doing much to clear this wave. Calitro's not even speccing extra points in a sapling toss for better wave clear either. So they're in pretty big danger of losing that turret. Sometimes you see Maokai's go sapling toss when they're trying to hold waves off. Not the case here.
Alright, so Nien, though, instead is going to play the freezing game. Looks like he may sacrifice that bottom lane turret, but he really wants Seraph to not get gold, because though that push is happening, Calitrolls is farming, and he's got double Doran's Ring, 25 minion kills. Seraph cannot really say the same for himself here. So, doing what he can to clear the waves away, and the Rockets, explosive charge mostly used on the champions, and it does not damage the turret when it explodes off a champion. It must be targeted on the turret itself, it looks like. So, not getting a crazy amount of damage done now.
Yeah, honestly, Emperor should be saving that E for the turret, because this lane is not necessarily that favorable for them from a farm perspective. Nien is so powerful with his levels over Seraph that he is getting a big gold lead if you're just comparing what Maokai can get at the turret with support help versus the other way around. So TDK need to pressure this turret down and give Seraph a little bit of assistance as soon as possible.
Yeah, well, they managed to keep the team on that side of the jungle. Good counter jungling. Kez got some wards done. Kez got some stuff done. And the wraparound does mean it goes down. There's the first turret. Now we've got Nien up in the top lane once again soloing. The freeze was broken, but it's still 60 CS to 18. So Seraph held down for a while, but Rumble has low item requirements, and getting solo XP is still plenty good. Nice do from Porpoise. Level only 4 for him, though. And loses the Raptor buff he just got.
Yeah. But will he clear the pink ward? Sometimes it's nice for a Raptor. I'm always mixed when a Raptor buff triggers on a pink ward, because I'm like, well, I could have seen this ward anyway if I walked through that brush. But you wouldn't always walk through that brush unless the Raptor buff had triggered you.
Yeah.
So even though it cost him his Raptor buff, he got the pink ward that he may not have checked otherwise. Of course, you should always check that brush.
Of course you should. But yeah, expected value-wise, it's definitely positive.
Yeah, just like you should always check the pink ward that can get stuck behind your red buff. But no one does.
Nope.
So if you get a Raptor buff, it tips you off. It's nice.
Yeah. People actually clear that one a lot because it always tips them off because of the Raptor buff. Like, that ward doesn't stay anymore because it keeps triggering. You're like, I know that ward. I put one by blue buff. It's actually like right by mid turret. No one ever checks that.
Yeah.
It'll stay up for like 15 minutes.
Very unlikely for a Raptor buff to still be on you by the time you're there as well.
Yeah. So, I'm giving away my strats. If you play me in solo queue, check that brush. You'll steal my wards.
Huh. You'll be waiting in that brush.
Yeah, just kidding. It was a bait. I played you.
The long gone.
This is why I cast LCS, to prop my solo queue MMR.
How's that going for you?
Not well. I'm the lowest rated of almost all the casters.
Great. Look at this. Mid lane has not been tilted. The main thing that we need to pay attention to, obviously, is this turret discrepancy. So TDK killed that turret so early, and I'm really wondering when Nien is going to match that off, because the longer he stays in that top lane farming, the more objectives TDK can take. Yeah,
just like this dragon. And the thing is, the way it's paying off, like the AD carries still have the exact same farm, and Seraph is only down 11 minions under Calitrolls. Is the turret worth 11 minions? I feel like that answer is no. And Team 8 not making the best of choices in the early game here.
Definitely.
Even when they went for like the turret hold, Calitrolls is actually less experienced than Seraph right now. Like even that's not giving him an.
Well, it's because they were holding CS, but they were helping out with the support to do so.
True.
So the experience was going to be a little different. Now you have to worry about a level 6 Rumble teleporting into any play. Obviously, the Maokai teleporting in would be threat as well, but the Rumble is much scarier at that point.
Haunting Guy's Rumble, definitely even scarier. Now, dragging off the field for a while means he's probably going to be okay. Nian is getting some decent damage down. You can see Seraph getting lower and lower. The Sheen from Nian, he's going to knock this turret down with 2 more attacks, but he will have to wait for the next wave. There was no jungler to stop this, so Nian should be getting this turret down guaranteed.
Seraph will ult the next wave most likely.
Yeah, you're right. So just kidding, it won't happen next wave. A lot of more time bot. And maybe Kez will show up top lane and turn that around. I believe he is now spotted. A lot of damage into Kez. Ulti comes through. They got to be a bit careful. Go to at 300 health. Emperor comes in for Porpoise. He's going to flash away and stay safe.
Oh, Nian.
Backdoors it.
Yeah. That's actually a pretty smart play because he would have had to. He knows Seraph would have been back for the next wave anyway. Now he ends up getting the turret.
Nian doesn't bounce this wave. This seems very strange to me. Almost every professional team ever will let that wave freeze back into their turret. Dodo, not 6, but he's going to live. And this means that Seraph gets to freeze. There's no dragon coming up. Like, maybe Maokai can turret dive, but Seraph not freezing it. I don't actually understand the thought process.
This is why they're not top teams right now. Because honestly, I don't see like legitimate good reasons for why they wouldn't be freezing these things, other than they just want the farm now, and then they want to go do something else. But the freezing that we've seen for pretty much all the other top teams all has to do with this wave manipulation, and neither of these teams are trying to take full advantage of it.
Well, unfortunate things here. Now, at the very least, though, Teammate did manage to equalize that turret game. TDK put their time and effort in getting that dragon on the bottom side of the map, and they got it, to be fair. So that's still an objective gained by them, but Nian did eventually answer back that turret. And even though I mentioned the XP disparity not being there between Cali Trolls and Seraph, Nian was, last I checked, 1 level above Emperor. So this Corki actually is now, yeah, basically 1.2 levels above. He's just barely 9 versus Emperor being a minion away from 8. So that does manifest there, and Teammate do have a high-level 80 carry.
Yeah, and Corki, of all the 80 carries you want to be high level, is definitely the one. Especially when you get level 2 up.
Not in range.
Ooh, that hurts.
Yeah, I didn't judge it properly.
Cali Trolls does have early home guards though, so maybe expect some home guard flank plays with teleport up as well. But with no flash, that strength of that play is diminished.
Kez spotted by a couple of wards here. TDK still playing the poke game. Emperor getting poked back himself. The Q lands from Corki. Golden Glue does not have his blue buff right now. I believe it's going to spawn again in about a minute or two, and then he'll have that once more. Nian not quite at Trinity Force, but he's not far away. He's about 300 gold having that item in his inventory, and that should happen in time for the next dragon coming up. The first one, yeah, a little while back. And if Emperor's not playing the Demolitionist role, then I might like Nian's champion a little bit more than as these team fights unfold. But we sit at a very tied game. Gold's the same, only difference being 1 dragon.
Yeah. And if we're thinking from a playmaking potential, Teammate would have the better initiation. They have Alistar, Gragas, Varus, and Maokai, who already build home guard with an incentivization on initiation, versus TDK, who, as far as hard CC goes, needs to wait for the 4th auto attack after Braum applies his passive. So the amount of initiation is so different for these teams. Yep. A lot of slows for TDK and a lot of damage. It'll be an interesting balance between TDK finding the right fights, because there's so much damage on TDK that if Teammate over-engages to just find a 5v5, TDK might be stronger in it. So therefore, Teammate needs to use all these tools to find odd-numbered fights and get picks.
Absolutely, and I think there's a good chance that a game that looks like TDK winning is going to be a low-kill game, because they can just play the poke game and, you know, knock down turrets, knock down dragons, and yeah, as you mentioned, those rare occasions, we'll see what they turn into. All right, Cali Troll's going to shove in this top lane. It's really not being answered right now. Seraph not collecting the farm. He's going over just now, so it looks like that'll be just fine. Blue buff steal did work successfully. Ninja managed to grab that there, so Golden Glue out of mana, trying to stack his mana moon as best he can, but forced to recall here. He wouldn't have had to if not for the steal. Dragon up at 45 seconds. Trinity Force is here for Nian. He's recalled in time. He will be in position. Double Sight Stone is in the inventory and fully charged from both Dodo and Porpoise. Kez actually getting his blue right now, he's not going to have a recall to have wards again in time for potential dragon fight.
That's true. He's also pretty low on health, so I'd imagine he's just going back to base and hoping to make it back for Drake. And they're definitely not timing this properly, but that's because he got a little bit manhandled by the blue buff. He ran out of mana while doing that, and he needs to go back and get his Runeglaive, it looks like.
And at the very least, Smoothie can ward for him. Fully stacked Sightstone on the Braum here. Ignite and Ulti are up. In fact, pretty much all the tools are available on both sides. The only lack being teammate not having a blue. But they're going to be first to Dragon. Now, they had beaten TSM just a week ago by having actually very good Dragon control, being there first. TSM had bad recall timings, and teammate just said, we have wards, give it up.
And now they are in position. Seraph would have to teleport in. Seraph does not yet have level 11. That's what he would want. But remember, teammate has the initiation potential on this one, and they actually don't want to trap themselves in a Dragon Pit against a team with superior damage. Very interesting game teammate has to play here.
They're going to play for the mid lane right now. Eve is on the flank. Dodo staying on the right-hand side to zone her away. That will happen successfully. But mid lane not taking much damage. The poke still landing. Honestly,
that's a lot of poke.
Knocked them a bit low. Varus and Corki, and look at that. The Varus Corki poke isn't really landing. The Jace hits that do land do so much damage. Sarah was able to split push the top lane. He's not getting answered. No one's there. Calitro's tried to bully the mid lane around, but it didn't happen.
Yeah.
So top lane outer went down.
The poke that Ninja's landed is turning this into TDK's favor. Ninja still full health as well. Got a pretty decent mana pool. Lands another two-man poke. And Seraph's approaching level 11 more and more. Teammate through there bouncing back and forth, not wanting to trap themselves in the Dragon Pit, has just created a very unfavorable situation for themselves in which maybe they give up the Dragon.
And it's looking more and more like that. Kaz's late recall not getting punished here. Going to push around Dodo, though. And look at that. Jumping in to knock Alistar away. Headbutt says, give me some space. But Dragon, at least the ground is controlled by TDK. The ward's still scattered back and forth across these teams. Only 2 sweepers, only 2 pink wards for TDK. They can't get rid of all division.
No, definitely not.
But they have all the waves under control, so not a lot teammate feels like they can do right now.
Right, but I mean, they had to send Porpoise up top lane to deal with the Rumble. Now it's a non-home guarded teleport that is canceled. Seraph will still have his to come down with.
Yeah.
Woo.
And Seraph is about 1 minion away from 11. I actually want to see him knock down a minion wave up there just to make sure he's got rank 2 equalizer. It's literally, like, even Scuttlecrab might almost do it, but teammate actually, for them stopping Dragon, get the, a little bit of chance to push down mid lane, but they got to be afraid of this Rumble who's roaming down from the top lane. Calitros has to walk to even have a hope of being in the team fight. And yet again, TDK could always go back there, but because TDK had to go defend mid, now teammate control Dragon, and they're actually going to knock this down pretty fast. A bunch of recalls came through. TDK recalled back and gave teammate control.
Poor recall timing, for sure. I mean, they still have the gold lead, but teammate is able to equalize the Dragons. And it's crazy, too, because teammate didn't even have a teleport to threaten any of that. Exactly what TDK would have wanted would have been to come down and trap them in the Dragon Pit, but they did want to buy their items as well, and they just picked a bad time to do so.
I don't understand why Seraph walked down, though. He could have kept that lane pushed up, and you just send one guy back at a time, you can guarantee it's still a 4v4. Wave clear, easy enough. Golden Glue, despite not having a blue buff, was able to stay out on the map the entire time. And he's going to be just okay here. So, small gold lead, though, still for Team Dragon Knights. They knocked down that top lane outer turret. They're getting a lot more farm. Seraph now plus 22 over Calitro, despite the fact that teammate tried to freeze him out of the lane for so long in the early game. Seraph's gotten it all back.
Yeah. And he's going to be able to buy into some pretty nice items soon as well. The Home Guard Rush is interesting, is maybe to try and just match Calitrolls a little bit, but Leandry's being done just now. That's a nice Leandry's timing with his level 11. It would be nice if the Dragon was up to fight over, but maybe they try and force a fight within the jungle of teammate.
Keep in mind, it's still a teleport disadvantage, so a risk for teammate. There's always a chance Rumble ends your team fight. Smite's coming through. There's the engage. Rumble's coming in from across the wall. Teammate stuck in a 4v5. A pretty good equalizer, but Porpoise going to jump away. And no, the first blood comes through. The rest of the teammate able to flash out. And just barely. Emperor trades one back. Still, though, first blood the teammate, and Maokai's still pushing.
Yeah, TDK forces really hard, but that's the type of force you'd like to see over a Dragon right there. Not able to quite close him down enough. It seemed like Seraph put his Rumble ultimate down going vertical on the map where he needed the horizontal one to stop the retreat from teammate. And then maybe he could have wiped the floor with them. But it is just a 1-for-1 with first blood going to teammate, and not much really done when all is said and done, except different teleport timers now between the two teams.
All right, so here we go. 1,300 gold still the game. Mid lane gonna get fired down. That will get chunked out. Emperor, bam, bursts them out. Clears part of a minion wave. All three outer turrets now down. TDK's picked them up. Teammate have a little bit of progress on various other turrets around the game, but as far as the current lead goes, 2,000, TDK looking pretty decent.
Yeah. TDK will want to try and close on this very small lead. They have, looking at this again, they just rush past the blue buff, hoping the teammate would be distracted with taking it. But then as you can see that Rumble ultimate, just with the way the teammate is running away, if that was placed in that corridor, they'd be much, much lower on this one. Amber picks up the kill on the backside, and teammate
it looked
trapped a bit in the team fight. That was interesting too, because that's the team that doesn't have the initiation forcing the fight. And it was very hard for them to close down and actually get the kills.
It was Flash Evelyn ult, Flash Brommel. Those were literally their best engaged tools on the team, and it was, you slowed them a little bit. Keep in mind, slows don't stack in this anymore, so like Equalizer, Braum ulti, and Evelyn all compete for the same status effect, and they don't really get slowed down that much anymore. And for Rocket jumps away from a headbutt pulverize.
Lost his red buff, it looks like. Porpoise stole it away.
Yeah, good steal by Porpoise, okay. Yeah, I think Seraph was thinking if they escape up towards the base gate, it's the right equalizer, but teammate just walked right towards the turret instead. And it ended up not being a good equalizer. I don't know if it was the right choice or not, just what his thought process looked like. Mid lane once again under fire. Her equalizer is back up from cooldown, as is all ults except for Emperor's. Nian chunked down to half. Really good Jace poke coming through. A lot of cooldown reduction on Ninja with the Brutalizer. And the Boots Lucidity. Looks like TDK making the call to say, hey, let's knock down top lane. Let's control this side of the jungle. Keep in mind, Calitrolls does have teleport, though, so he can match the push-up here. The rest of the team coming up.
Yeah, it's interesting that Calitrolls has been kind of the attempted demolitionist. Maokai, one of the slowest split pushers possible. You would want him to threaten initiations with home guard from base, but he has been the presence in other waves. It is kind of actually working for teammate, though, if he can knock these turrets down. He tried getting the interior in the top lane, didn't quite get it. Now at least he'll get the outer in the bottom lane, but he will have to be willing to make that teleport play and stop this siege from TDK.
Well, the first explosive charge knocked that turret down to 60%. Looks like the second one could be the turret itself. Smoothie trying to keep his turrets alive, and a nice equalizer gets Nian incredibly low. Dodo pops the ulti on himself as well. The teleport comes in for Calitrolls to buy a bit of time. Doesn't want Ninja, though, because the two marksmen of teammate are too low to fight. This teleport means nothing.
Wow, so at least he gets the reduced teleport cooldown for going to a turret, but very rarely do you see a home guard Maokai make a play by teleporting onto a turret. It seems like they were just hoping to defend and dissuade that push because they can trade now one turret for 0 and their red buff. Overall, that is still a positive trade for Team 8.
All right, so the split push worked out. The TP timer was used successfully enough.
Yeah.
Teammate keeping the turret alive is a big deal, but now we have Teammate have nearly killed the top lane tier 2 of TDK. That was an earlier Maokai split push, and TDK have nearly knocked down Teammate's top lane tier 2. Both these turrets are pretty much one minion wave away from getting knocked down here. Both below half.
Yeah, 800 health and 600 health. Teammate's the one that is a little bit lower.
Oh.
And they think about initiation. Here's the odd number fight.
Pulverize, and it was a overheated Seraph who didn't have an ulti anyway, so a nice pickup there. The engage did land. Calitrolls was able to run, Dodo able to run as well, and more poke from the marksman. Emperor wants in. No crit. Oh! Shock that land, though.
And that's with Dragon up as well. Dodo gets sniped. Someone probably could have blocked for him, but no one wants to walk in front of an empowered shock blast. He didn't expect that one to land, it looks like.
So interesting choice here. Seraph will have teleport up, so delaying these next 6 seconds means TDK can guarantee 5 members. All in all, teammate will not challenge. Dragon 2 does go over to Kez. Doesn't even have to smite it. And teammate, once again on the back foot, down 1,500 gold, down a Dragon.
Yeah, and this game has started out fairly slow, Freak. I think we are expecting a very long game as well. TDK has played the longest games in the LCS, Teammate close behind them. TDK averages around 43 minutes, Teammate 40 minutes plus. And if the pace of this is any indication, 4 kills, 24 minutes in. And seemingly, one of the reasons these teams play long games is they're not good at forcing their advantages, right? CaliTrolls, he's had home guard for forever now, but he hasn't forced any home guard TP plays. Seraph has teleported in, but he could not trap anyone off with his equalizer. So there could be a lot of just extension of this game because they're not playing as crisply as a top team would.
Yeah, very true. So capitalizing on your advantage is definitely a very big deal here. Either of these teams could absolutely win this game, and in fact, both teams would really, really like to. A loss means you're guaranteed to not get something. If Teammate lose, they are guaranteed to not make playoffs. If TDK lose, they are guaranteed to be relegated at the end of the split. As soon as they had joined the LCS, they're just as quickly out. Winning keeps those hopes alive, and see if that happens. Pushing on in, 1,400 gold lead. Teammate once again looking to knock this turret down. They have to give some respect to the counter engage of TDK, but keep in mind that is a very soft engage, and oh my god, Emperor too far up, gets caught out. Porpoise finds the team. They go in and knock down Seraph. A terrible equalizer and a double kill for Nien. Mid lane outer goes down as well.
Oh, and that's exactly the initiation the Teammate wants to accomplish. They had Dodo off on the side to prevent Kez from coming in, and then Golden Glue found another nice ultimate. This is the time the Teammate can choose which team fights to fight, and they get the pick.
Very, very massive. That's the second kill in a row, I believe, that Teammate got because Golden Glue landed an ulti. And in fact, 2 of those last 3 were onto Seraph himself. So very, very nice stuff here. Teammate finally able to get the gold back in their favor. Mid lane tier 2, of course, died during that push as well. And yet again, Nien is the beneficiary of these games. He's up with the most kills and the most farm.
Yeah, I mean, just looking here, Emperor and Seraph had trapped themselves against the turret, so there's no juking that could happen. It was really smart of Golden Glue to recognize that position on the map of where a skill shot could not be dodged and land the tendrils onto a couple people there. Then they just dive in with their chain CC afterwards.
Beautiful stuff here, man. We're sitting on now Teammate with the lead and feeling good. Ninja with the blue buff, but Golden Glue on this Varus, a much better poke champion as far as poke itself is concerned than Jace. Ninja's got other strengths on that champion, but can't poke quite as well as Varus. So Golden Glue able to push him around the map, and no lifesteal really to speak of on this Jace means he's got to recall and home guard and head somewhere else.
We're going to see a lot of home guards
in
this high poke, low sustain game. Another thing that's kind of interesting on this patch is with all the Rumbles wanting to rush Leandries, it is heavily delaying them almost ever getting a Zhonya's Hourglass, right? The olden days, you'd see the Sork Shoes and the Haunting guys, or if you're like Seraph and worried about CC, the Mercury Treads and the Haunting guys. But then you'd almost always see a Zhonya's as the next item right away. And it allowed the Rumble to play more aggressively, get in the front line, and pull off the Zhonya's Flamespitter play. But now with Leander's Rush, he wants to finish the Rylai's probably to get the synergy going between those 2 items. And he's going to be never getting the Zhonya's, but that might be what he needs.
Well, going to see them jump right now to CaliTrolls. Once again, Seraph overheats without ulting in, but the front line is here. Dodo lands the stun, knocks back TDK, but they're right back into the chase. A good counter engage though with the Varus ulti. Dodo able to walk back, and the roots are going to mean just enough. Dodo with a sliver of health, I think literally like 5 off the shock blast, walks away.
And honestly, another underwhelming equalizer by Seraph. That was a haphazard initiation by Teammate. Didn't really pick the right target to go onto, and it was totally open to a counterattack, but TDK doesn't get any kills. And now another teleport onto a turret. He's gonna need backup.
He's there by himself, chunked incredibly low, 800 health left on CaliTrolls, pulls a summoner heal in, and Dodo, now of course running without the ult, kill goes to Emperor. The resets are in. If Emperor is gonna jump forward, it would be about now. But he knocks down Porpoise, gets the jump in, goes right backwards. Poked out, but it's still 2 more kills picked up for TDK and the turret.
Yeah, that's Tristana, the Demolitionist, takes down those turrets so fast. And CaliTrolls lost the defense of his turret very quickly after teleporting in. He wanted to teleport in right away to save, so his teleport wouldn't get canceled by the turret going down, but in doing so, he arrived well before the rest of his team. This is honestly a turret the teammate should have just called it quits on and said, see you later, because now they don't have a clean initiation onto TDK, and they are open to the counterattack. Emperor and Ninja free hitting on the backside.
Yeah.
Shot blast to finish.
And Kaliazol was actually still down for about 4 seconds when he TP'd in. The ulti came up partway through that fight. Taking 20% less damage and then being able to burst someone for about 400, maybe could have made a very big difference in that fight when you layer that with some Varus arrows and Corki rockets. So unfortunate there for Kaliazol. I think he used it to farm a little bit earlier and punished for that cooldown still being down. More poke onto Ninja. Yomu's Ghostblade done now on this Varus.
On the
sorry,
Jace.
it's Jace. I misspoke. It was a Varus arrow came by and I got confused.
I mean, they build the same items.
Yeah.
So, can happen to anyone. Wondering if Ninja's going to close with an Infinity Edge or a Bloodthirster. It'll be an interesting choice because Infinity Edge, a lot of people say, is the correct item for Jace. And if anyone ever gets close to you, you can get some amazing hypercharged crits on them since your 3 quick auto attacks do 110% damage. That amplifies with the Infinity Edge crit. But they're against poke, so the Bloodthirster is greatly needed for the sustain.
Yeah, the choice is going to be interesting. I'm actually a little bit surprised he finished the Yomu's before even getting as much as a Vamp Scepter here.
Yeah, which would make you think he wants Infinity Edge.
Yeah, true. Once the damage build in the end, chunked down below 1,000 health here. Dragon is alive, keep in mind. With both these teams very close in gold, it's more about how they position and what they can gain before it starts. Good poke from Golden Glue. This Varus, 2-0 and 3. He's started almost all the fights they've wanted. He's got 100% kill participation.
And he's only down 60 CS.
Yeah, he's getting destroyed farm-wise, but they're giving it so much to Nien that
it's true. So much of this game has just been a poke battle in the mid lane that these CS numbers are fairly dishonest to who is winning or losing each lane. It's really just been everyone grouped, and it's a conscious choice here to get Nien more and more fun.
Yeah, it's like a small lead overall to TDK if you count it all up, but it means that Dragon still goes to Team 8. They just snuck it in with the AD carry and jungler. TDK would rather push the top lane. They chose to do this instead of fighting for Dragon. Seraph is up here prepping the wave, and here comes the team to knock it down.
Yeah, this is the one that was sitting on 600 health oh so long ago. Please finish it.
There, yeah, they wanted to make sure they grabbed the red buff and then played defensively. TDK thought they had enough damage. They were right, but that means they left mid lane open. Nien gets to push that one in. That will again force a response.
Yeah. I want to see more aggression out of Team 8 with their ability to start fights, especially with the Maokai to do home guard teleports, because if they're waiting and sitting back, I feel like for the Jace to power up to get max items, I'd be very worried about forcing those late game team fights if you are Team 8, especially since they haven't been able to control the Dragon well. Home guard flanks with the Maokai to get picks. One of the main ways they would be able to theoretically pull ahead of this game.
Yeah. And we've actually seen that happen, right? Team 8 have done a good job of getting home guard flanks and getting flash Varus ultis and whatnot. Honestly, TDK feels like a team that could really benefit from just playing around the middle of the map and then just running to a random turret on the side lanes. They've got a Tristan and they've got a Jace. They're probably 2 of the best, I think maybe like literally the 2 best demolitionists in League of Legends. There's a good chance those are those 2 right there. So if you ever get in a turret fight, it goes TDK's way, absolutely. And even Seraph can just hold you to defend a wave. So splitting turret trades, I think, actually tends to go TDK's way. It's something that team 8 actually have to keep in mind if they ever try to make a choice. An aggressive one is if they post up on a turret, that can sometimes be very easily answered by a cross-map play.
Yeah, and one of the poke discrepancies we're seeing here pretty heavily is Smoothie's blocking a lot of stuff with Braum.
Yeah.
And there is no thing to equalize that on the side of Team 8. So even though they have the Varus Corki and some nice theoretical poke champions, Team 8 is winning the poke battles, which even more forces Team 8 into finding quick, decisive initiations. Because if they dance around and wait for a fight, they're probably going to get poked off.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And so the matter is, you know, the poke lane, the poke getting defended, the poke making a meaningful enough impact. Right now, top lane getting pushed in by Nien. Team 8 still trying to play the map as openly as they can. Both top laners have teleport, but no one's on the bottom side of the map right there. No one's getting that extra wave of experience and gold. And we can see the wave clear potential, right? Top lane gonna get cleared out by Rumble, which means Team 8 gonna have a bit of a hard time pushing any farther, but TDK able to knock down mid with relative ease.
Yeah, that's
when the wave shows up.
We're in a bit of an awkward situation. Ninja and Kez were not as far up as the turret killers were.
Oh yeah, and the wave gets cut off again, so that mid lane pressure doesn't actually happen at all. And they pull the rest of the team. They left Seraph alone up there, who had ulti to clear the wave. There's even a window now with no equalizer to try to start a fight.
Yeah, we heard how Team 8 was talking a little bit before the game about how TDK is out of sync since the new members. That was a perfect example of that. Now Team 8, this is a dangerous play if they get spotted out. Also because Emperor is off on a split push, so TDK wants to stall, but it's hard because they have no rumble up. This could be a Baron for Team 8.
They headbutted him out. The Baron gets picked up. Really nicely done. Team 8 look for the objective, and they get that one. Explosive Cast pulls the team in. They catch out Smoothie. That's a kill picked up, but the inhibitor nearly dead. Kez does not get away from the rockets. In the end, grabs that kill, so inhibitor in shambles, but a 5v3 with a Baron buff for Team 8 to answer.
Yeah, I mean, that's really what Team 8 was trading. It's an inhibitor for this new empowered Baron buff, and can they get an inhibitor of their own? That is now 2 death timers on 28 to 30 seconds, and they're just going to end up recalling.
Looks like no one was around to help in the end. I guess afraid of the respawns, but with Seraph not having ulti, and Kez and Smoothie dead for long enough, I'm not sure why that team didn't just join in on that left side of the map, but that's the choice that Team 8 made, and they will once again play it slowly.
And we have to re-emphasize how much is on the line for these teams, right? TDK needs to win out to avoid auto-relegation. If Team 8 wins out, they still have a chance of playoffs, but mainly they're looking for that 7th seed, and Cloud9 looking very competitive for that spot. So for all the sloppiness you see in this game, for the closeness, the Dragons being even as well, there's a lot of pressure on these guys, and that could very well be impacting their level of play here. Either way, it's still anyone's game. A Baron for inhibitor trade, you could argue that back throughout time and say whether it's been worth it. Different philosophies across the board. The fact that it was pretty much an even trade just means the Team 8 now needs to devote time to that bottom wave, and it delays the game more than anything else. The team with Baron has to devote time to clearing the minion wave, therefore the other team gets time to farm. And it ends up being kind of an equalized gold trade, unless Team 8 could somehow find a fight and use those empowered minions to get an inhibitor of their own.
See if they can make that happen, and because right now the siege isn't happening, Seraph's ulti is up to clear if he needs it, and right now Ninja and Emperor are able to knock these down pretty cleanly. The thing is, Tristana is actually a pretty good defensive wave clear if you can't stop her from auto-attacking. Explosive charge and auto-attack basically clears the back line on its own, and you can see Team 8 not even trying to pressure. They sent more than just Calitro's bot lane. They're not stopping Emperor from clearing these out. They're not even poking.
I mean, Calitros doesn't do that good of a job killing super minions as a full tank Maokai.
True.
It's really just one of these game stalling things, and TDK's actually trying to use that to their advantage here. They already chipped away at that mid-inner turret before, and maybe they're just trying to get the position so they can get some wards and notice Team 8 walking in for our next Dragon.
This will be Dragon number 3 for each of these teams. They've both been picked up sort of off of interesting choice. The Emperor really low on health. Calitros wants him and gets knocked back into the team. Golden Glue stuck on an equalizer, forced to flash away. He is no longer in this battle. Call it a 4v5. Emperor versus Calitros. They can't quite hit him. He jumps away to safe, but here comes the cleanup as Golden Glue rejoins the battle, and it's a cleanup crew for Team 8. 4 kills picked up for 1.
Whoa, and it was all about Emperor getting caught at the very start of that fight. Calitros, without necessarily the backup of his team, caught someone who didn't have the backup of their team, and this very strange team fight opens up now maybe a window for TDK to knock down an inhibitor, even though their Baron buff has expired.
Yeah, Team 8 with plenty of time. Kez could not possibly hope to defend all of this even with his blasting smite. It shouldn't happen here. So a full health inhibitor turret should be getting dropped dangerously low. The cannon is there. Dragon number 3 picked up. Porpoise will recall. He feels safe just to wait for his team to knock this down by themselves. A big wave top lane will be answered and cleaned up. And there is the inhibitor jet. 38 minutes in, Team 8 have some inroads.
TDK might look to chase this. They have some pretty deep wards, and Seraph could teleport in from behind if they want to cut them off. Plus, they know Team 8 had to send base defenders.
The ward.
Here comes Seraph. Calitros could match with a teleport after he clears the wave.
It's down to half. Seraph walks right on in, gets rooted up into place. Here comes Calitros as well, but they do not have a Gragas. It's going to be enough to get that team out. That's TP threat enough to disengage TDK.
Good disengage right there. So big time fight by Team 8. They need to manage their waves. They didn't lose any turrets. They did pick up the CS, and they picked up the 3rd Dragon. All very positive things for them. They're not in position to win the game yet, but they're definitely on the right road.
Now TDK for 2 of the last 3 have stolen away teammates' red buff up there. Emperor, if he can keep himself safe, he can do a lot to apply those red buff slows and damage and be a good backline marksman. Chad, it does look like we will be seeing the lifesteal build from Ninja, so yeah, none of the real crazy AD carry DPS coming out from him.
Just wait for the 6th item, man. Bloodthirster Infinity Edge.
Okay.
I'd like to see it. I don't think it would happen.
Bloodthirster already done for this Varus here. Golden Glue
Yeah.
for now, holding onto a pink ward. Maybe he'll go Infinity Edge. You see that fight one more time. Emperor.
Yeah.
Yeah, very split up as they take a pink ward down.
Super chaotic start. Emperor, also because Golden Glue added with the start of that poke, it's honestly just total chaos. Seraph goes chasing a kill off on one side, but he's not able to finish off Golden Glue, and that's actually very critical as we come back into this fight, because Golden Glue then can snipe Emperor on the backside of this as the rest of Team 8 kind of runs through. Because it started with such a nice pick on an Emperor, it was one team with an AD carry running away, and another team with an AD carry on the offensive. And the offensive AD carry was able to win. Nian's been free farming this whole game, all farm devoted for him, and he got to free hit in that fight. Huge swing.
He's 100 CS over his next teammate. Like, this guy has got all the money. Actual gold-wise, he's 2,000 above Golden Glue, 3,000 above Cali.
Great equalizer this time, though.
Beautiful, absolutely. A couple of shields used on Golden Glue will keep him alive, but yet again, he might be out of this fight. And Ninja is one poke away from killing him. Guess the location, but Golden Glue's already run away. Wave should be cleared cleanly enough. No, we get a bit of damage coming through, but careful, Porpoise taking some damage, and yes, this turret will fall indeed. Well done, TDK, to knock that one out.
Yep, Rumble Ultimate for a turret is the basic trade right there. Man, still a very close game in pretty much all the objective ways. And the scaling of these teams is also fairly similar, right? The Jace versus the Varus, the Corki versus the Tristana, even the Maokai versus the Rumble.
Yeah, very true.
And the mid laners serve incredibly similar purposes. And the teams all play long games.
Yep, and the name's supposed to start with team.
So much synergy
Just
here.
so many things. Can't even come up with anything else to say about this, but honestly, both AD carries are Yordles.
Really? Yeah.
Tristana and Corki.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
The junglers are different genders.
Such game changer.
Sorry. Okay, but you know what? Baron's back on the field, though. Teammate got the last one. They traded their bottom inhibitor for it, essentially, but it worked out. And now sitting on a 3,000 gold lead, their biggest lead of the game. They're looking to maybe get Baron number 2 here. Look for the flash. They can't get, but the knockback comes through. However, no kills picked up as a result. Ninja able to cleanse and run away. Golden Glue still has the ulti. No flash for Porpoise, though, so his engage tool is gone. Flash is up for Dodo, though, so maybe he can make that happen. But his Righteous Glory is on cooldown, so is Calitroll. So those engage tools also went down.
Yeah, now you don't need all the engage tools if you can.
They can block it.
The instant they got hit by a Scrying Orb, they started Baron instead of falling out of the pit. So they are really forcing something big here. Smoothie very low.
Half HP in the
Heal for
backside, a lot of roots. Ninja then caught up there, has flash, uses it. Equalizer chunks the bottom line. Golden Glue running away, caught up by Seraph. He's gonna still knock down Ninja first, traded back, and Kez is on the run. It's still a 1-for-1. Smoothie, though, caught up. Looks to be an easy kill. Seraph looking for more people to kill, though. Nien on the backside, half HP. Still getting hit up, force the Valkyrie out. Kez and Emperor looking for more. The flash from Calitrolls just barely keeps him up. The Pulverizer Dodo is a very angry cow. Emperor cannot find the target. Seraph can, though. Try to knock down Alistair. Gets some Kez now on the chase, but Nienna's already knocked down Smoothie. He rejoins the fight. Kez is low, so is Seraph. TP re-engaged for Calitrolls means a bad thing for TDK. Kez rooted up, knocked down, an ace for teammate.
What a crazy fight, and Calitrolls, because he escaped with just a sliver of health, finally uses that home guard teleport to the best of its ability, and now teammate can probably go for a Baron, but will they even trade this for an inhibitor? There's so many, there's 2 cannon minions. They're gonna trade Baron for an inhibitor again.
Oh, this time around,
even after an ace.
A lot of time, because teammate have a bunch of waves, both mid and top, and they've got 30 seconds on most of the respawns. It's only Ninja alive. Teleports down. Calitrolls will walk top lane, and Ninja actually will just barely keep the mid inhibitor afloat, so that one will not die to minions. For top lane turret, very, very low. Actually, that might die to the wave itself. It's getting chunked.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, that is another big wave trying to kill that turret. Freak this game. It is. We've had 2 crazy games. We had 3 quick games to start the day, and now we're probably going to get back-to-back 50-minute thrillers down the stretch. All right, so 4th Dragon upcoming for teammate. Start the 5 Dragon time. I think Team 8 is one of the teams in North America who achieved 5 Dragons but still lost. Or they either had the opponent get 5 Dragons and won. One of the no, enemy got 5 Dragons against Team 8. Team 8 was able to win.
Yeah.
So they know all well that 5 Dragons is not a catch-all for victory, especially in close games that go very late.
Yeah. Do you remember the stat, Jet? There have been like 6 Dragon 5 losses in professional play this split.
Yes.
I know you did the math.
This split across the LMS, LCK, EU, and NA/LCS.
Yeah, the record's like 50-6 or something like that.
It's, I don't have it exactly with me, but it's something like 36-4 or 37-4. Very indicative of winning. But if you're going to get an upset, a lot of the times it's going to be in the much longer games where items are more equalized. The opponent has also got 1 dragon or so, and the kills are close. But I haven't finished my research, so I don't want to talk about it yet.
Sorry, chat. I brought the spoiler up, but still, its teammate looking maybe pretty happy. Actually, a good equalizer. Buys a lot of time, but Kez in the flank gets evaporated. He went in too soon, and the teammate frontline holds steady. Ninja trapped up, getting shut down pretty hard. A 2-for-1 so far, as Calitrolls did die, but it's still too big of a front line. Seraph, one of the last remaining members, a triple kill for Nien, now in a duel, but gets crit by Emperor. The big shutdown means Emperor keeps his team's hopes alive.
Teammate was so close to locking TDK into auto-relegation, but Emperor just smacks Nien, and now those super minions are doing some work in the base of Team 8 as well. Emperor just needs to delay the recalls for those minions to do stuff.
One of the Nexus turrets has already died. He wanted some more cleanups, but he's not going to get any more than that. Golden Glue playing the defense in his base. A 6,000 gold lead, but there's always a risk that your structures die and you lose the game when you didn't mean to. Still, 2 inhibitors down is a good thing for Team 8 here that should allow them to hold map control for a very long time and maybe set up that dragon.
Jeez. More craziness. Even more craziness. So it's been 2 Barons to Team 8. That inhibitor has been cycled down a few times, but now the Team 8 has double inhibitors is going to be a larger thing. Team 8 was so close to finding the game win right here. Another equalizer comes down. They were trying to time it with the flank, but it really doesn't land on many people of Team 8. At that point, Porpoise and the tank line of Team 8 is very strong at being in there. They close down on pretty much everything. It's just Emperor who has been free hitting on this time, and yet he tries to duel him. But yeah, that was just a couple of big crits.
I don't think the last attack was great. I think it was explosive charge on a different champion blew up near him.
Oh, really?
I think. I didn't track it closely, but I think the last attack wasn't a crit. It was explosive charge on, I think, Alistair. And I was told yes. Corki walked into an explosive charge from Alistair to get away from Tristana.
That'll do it.
Yep.
10-1 Yen. All the farm that he has been able to put into himself with his shot calling has been beneficial. He almost closed the game right there.
Yeah.
Monstrous game from him. Team 8 still in strong positions with 2 inhibitors down. This is almost a perfect scenario because them having a down inhibitor doesn't necessarily matter since the lane they are pushing is convenient with their goals. So it's basically the same near impossible defense of TDK trying to stop 2 waves of super minions while defending your 3rd inhibitor.
Yeah, one of the best ones to defend those minion waves would be Emperor on this Tristana, so at least there's the chance for it, but still very, very difficult. The tanks stacking armor. Thornmail, Frozen Heart, Randu, and Zoman, Ninja Tabby for Calitrolls. Good luck getting through the 430 armor Maokai, but the equalizer might help this one. Kez the front line. They got Golden Glue. That's a big one. Porpoise running away with explosive charge on him. Smoothie putting the shield up the front line is not going down. Calitrolls knocked back in the front line, holding up pretty nicely, but there's a big 4-man pulverize from Dodo, but there is 0 follow-up, which means Dodo's on the wrong place, and this one gets picked up. Maybe it's the comeback win here. TDK knock up 2 kills. Red buff on Emperor. The crowd chanting for him. The flash auto. It slows down Nien. Here comes Kez, and that's going to be nothing to do for Calitrolls. He does trade back, though, as Smoothie loses his life. Keep in mind, mid and top still have super minions mulling into the base. They could kill the Nexus by themselves, so TDK have to respond, and they will send Seraph to do that. Yeah,
this is so intense. Nien is actually attempting a hero mission on the backside. There are really long death timers, 50 minutes in.
This is a 3v1.
There's only 1 Nexus turret for Team 8, so these 3 can definitely push through Porpoise if they knew that Corki wasn't there, but because of the threat, is just going to be the inhibitor.
Kez has 226 armor. He could have definitely tanked the Nexus turret. Chooses not to, though, and they will play a safe game.
Yeah, Nien was going to be back.
Of course,
well, so it would have been a difficult team fight. Just speak to the play that TDK just made there. It is the only play they have in that situation, because if they allow the siege to begin on that bottom tier turret, the super minions would arrive and they'd eventually have to pull someone off and lose a 4v5. So basically, Team 8 was not successfully able to control their flanks, and that's why they got jumped on by Kez right at the start of that fight. Golden Glue went down, and that's how this game continues.
Golden Glue went down with Flash up, but he's got a Banshee's Veil now for himself to keep that in a slightly better spot. We can see that fight one more time. They've got so many pink wards.
Double pink wards because they're so worried about the flank. But the ward that is approached from is even farther back, and then Kez is like, screw your flanks, I'm going to flash over you. Teammate tried their best to control those flanks.
Yeah, they did.
But there was such a deep ward for the home guard teleport, an unexpected ward that ends up allowing Rumble to flank position. From there on, I mean, without the damage from Golden Glue, it's just really difficult for them to stay in. And oh my god,
and it starts with Emperor dying, but a beautiful equalizer buys a lot of time and a lot of damage, but Smoothie will follow his lane mate down. And oh man, a body slam flash in the pickup. Ninja goes down. The inhibitors actually have respawned, so it will take a little bit of time for Team 8 to make this happen, but 2v5, good luck, TDK.
Yeah, and that should be game. Sorry that we're in a replay when that happened, but things happen in LCS all the time. Team 8, they will have minion waves. There are 3 dead, no wave clears here. This looks like Team 8 taking the game.
Seraph caught up, pops the Zhonya's. Kez still running around, looks for Golden Glue, but can't possibly do enough for himself. That's going to be the ace. You know what? They don't need the ace. They just need the Nexus. Kez last man alive. Team 8 keep the playoff hopes up in 51 minutes. TDK are locked into 10th place. They will be swapping place with the #1 challenger team at the end of the year.
Wow. What a bloodbath that was. 26 kills to 12. A very unfortunate but somehow fitting end for TDK in a 50-minute game with a pick on the AD carry to end the game. Nien, incredibly powerful this entire time, making sure the farm stayed on him. 416 CS, 11-1. When teammate wins, Nien is usually really, really powerful.
Yeah.
And that is true once again, as they technically keep their playoff hopes alive.
All right, well, Team 8, their only chance is to win their next 3 against Gravity, Liquid, Counter Logic Gaming. Of course, that'll be difficult. Team Sulamid has to go 0-3. Then they'll have a tiebreaker. That's the only possibility. Otherwise, though, only 3 games to play, and Team 8 sits 1 game above Cloud9, and I believe 2 games above Enemy Esports. Yeah. So this is looking maybe a bit hopeful for Team 8 here. If they want to keep that 7th place spot, it's where they ended last split. They would have hoped to do a little bit better. Unfortunately, that didn't happen, but
yeah, it's been
they can try again for the next time as the team transitions, right? New mid laner, new AD carry.
Yeah,
Catlin also said he'll be retiring at the end of the year as well, so, you know, a roster's still to change, but maybe we'll see growth.
Yeah, very trying splits for both of these teams. Seraph, his 2nd stint in the LCS. Unfortunate ending. There was that glimmer of hope when TDK took down Team Dignitas, but now they are locked into that 10th place seed. Ninja and Emperor could not arrive halfway through the season and save the day. Because it takes time for teams to gel. I mean, Team 8, they have had a much more difficult split than they even had the first time around. But as the split has progressed, you can tell they're getting used to having Nien, they're getting used to Golden Glue in the mid lane, and they are improving as a team. Looking at their second half of the split here, they're actually 4-2 in those games. Now, of course, they have Gravity, Liquid,